Hello, friends. Welcome back to Transcendent Astrology and Tarot. My name is Michelle Fondon. I'm an author, speaker, astrologer, and tarot reader. And today I come to you with the Leo new moon happening on August 4th of 2024. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for subscribing below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. I do tarot and astrology readings. You can book that at my website, michellefondonauthor.com. The Leo new moon is happening on August 4th of 2024 at 4:12 a.m. Pacific time. A new moon happens when the sun and the moon are at the exact same degree in the exact same sign. And this time around, the sun and the moon are sitting at 12 degrees and 33 minutes of Leo. What does Leo represent? Leo is fixed fire, and the ruling planet of Leo is the sun. So the sun being in Leo feels very much at home in Leo. Now, what does Leo represent? It represents the individual that is more developed than the individual in Aries, which is the first fire sign of the zodiac. Because Leo is fixed fire, it represents the individual really coming into themselves. It is more of an ego-based sign, but that doesn't necessarily have to mean something bad, because Leos are known for their warmth, their generosity, their kind-heartedness. In fact, the word kind-hearted is a very Leo word. But Leos are also performers, and they want to be recognized by others. They even like to be admired by others, and sometimes they can be a little grouchy if someone is not recognizing them for their efforts. Because of the fixed fire, though, Leos can be extremely helpful and loyal to those who recognize them for their efforts. When we think about a new moon in Leo, we think about Leo season. So let's talk about Leo season just for a moment. Leo season happens in the middle of the summer, hence the fixed sign. This is when we are settling into summertime. It might be extremely hot where you reside in summer in Leo season, and people tend to slow down a little bit. A lot of times, this is when people take vacations. As you well know, sometimes in the office in August, there's nobody in the office because everybody is out and about on vacations. That's why I'm naming this video Work Hard, Play Hard with this Leo new moon, because of what's happening in Leo and also what's happening in the Zodiac and the other aspects. So I'd like to explore the Sabían symbol for Leo, and then we're gonna discuss the other planets as well as the aspects that are happening around the time of this new moon. So the Sabían symbol are channeled messages for each of the degrees of the zodiac. There are 360 degrees because the zodiac is a circle. And these were channeled by Dane Rudyard, an astrological mandala. They're based on the I Ching, but it's a more modern version of the I Ching, if you will. And so it's about the development of human abilities. Now, Dane Rudyard was an astrologer who really followed the psychology of Carl Jung. So this is a very Jungian philosophy, but I tend to like it. And when I read the Sabían symbol for 12 degrees Leo, I was a little put off in the beginning until I really dove deep into the interpretation of the Sabían symbol. And I thought, oh my God, this makes so much sense for midsummer. So 12 degrees of Leo is as follows. An evening party of adults on a lawn illuminated by fancy lanterns. It's group relaxation in fashionable surroundings as an escape from work routine. Now, what this Sabían symbol does represent are cultivated and cultured people with maybe superficial communication such as gossip, but intellectual musings, not super deep, a little superficial, but sophistication, which is shown by the lanterns and the fancy dress, if you will. So at first I thought, wow, that really represents 12 degrees Leo as being a little bit superficial. But then I halted for a moment and I thought, we live in societies where work is regarded as the number one thing, even over families most oftentimes. And play is not so valued among the adults in society. Sure, children can play, but for adults, it's not usually regarded as something precious or something wanted. And even it may be looked at as even superficial if you're playing croquet on the lawn, for example. And play is very necessary to the flavors of life just as much as work is. And in fact, I wrote a blog post about this last week. So if you have not yet checked out my blog, I wrote a blog entitled Recreating the Self, or Recreating Yourself, if you will. It's part 2 of a part 1 series. But I'll put that link below, and of course I'll put it on the community page of this YouTube channel as well, so do check that out. When we think about summer, we like to think about recreation, relaxation, and those are re words if you think about it. The prefix re represents returning, redoing, again, or slowing down, or even moving backward. When other astrologers are speaking about retrograde, another re word, retrograde planets as being something bad, or you better look out, you better watch out for those retrograde planets. And it almost appears to be doom and gloom. But us as viewers, we view astrology from a transcendent point of view. So let's look at this a little bit differently, shall we? To that end, I'd like to take a look at the chart, and I'm going to point out all of our re's, all of our retrogrades. If we look at the chart, we have, and you can tell the symbols of the planets that are currently retrograde by the red number underneath that planetary symbol. So we have Pluto at 0 degrees Aquarius retrograde. We have Saturn at 18 degrees retrograde in Pisces. We have Neptune at 29 degrees retrograde in Pisces. Now the North Node and South Nodes are always in retrograde motion. We have Chiron at 23 degrees Aries in retrograde. We have Uranus direct, Mars is direct. Now Jupiter has slowed down because Jupiter will shortly be moving retrograde in a few weeks. We see the Sun and the Moon conjunct at 12 degrees 33 minutes of Leo. And then we have Venus and Mercury that are also conjunct in different signs. We still have Venus in Leo. Now Mercury will be going retrograde later on in this day on August 4th. In fact, it will happen around 10:15 p.m. Pacific time. That is a lot of retrogradation, retrograde motion. If you listen to other astrologers, they're like, oh, this is rough, this is difficult, this is so bad. All retrogradation represents are planets being closer to the Earth and their motion and movement seeming slower. And it brings about a more subjective view of those planets, or closer to home. So it's hard to get distance from the planets and get a more objective point of view. But I believe it's very fitting for the middle of summer with fixed fire. Don't you think? If summer is about relaxation, recreation, and perhaps redoing some of the things around the house, you might be redecorating your house, then that is an optimal time to be doing that. Wouldn't you think? Now let's think about some of the words that we might not like that start with re. We don't like words like redo, rewind, But we do like words like recognition and reward and redemption, don't we? So it all depends on the side that you're looking at things. Retrogrades can be good for slowing down and reassessing your life, slowing down and maybe having that opportunity for a redo. Sometimes don't you wish you had a redo? I know I wish I had a redo sometimes. And when we think about the lazy days of summer, the lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer, we think about Leo season, don't we? It's almost like we're holding on to summer by the time the end of July and August floats around. If you have not yet been enjoying your summer, we tend to hold on to it. It's like, oh my God, where is summer going? Where has it gone? And this is a perfect time to not only work hard, but play hard. Now let's talk about the new moon in Leo and what it represents for you. Now this is totally going to depend on where Leo sits in your natal chart, whether it's in your 2nd house, your 10th house, your 8th house, your 6th house, wherever it happens to be. But new moons are about a reset, new beginnings, fresh starts, and new intentions. And I really like the sun being in its home sign of Leo for the new moon intentions, because the moon is also not so shabby in Leo. The moon is normally moody and a little bit introspective, but Leo taking center stage, as many Leos do, they do take center stage, and if you're a Leo, you know this to be true, and it helps the moon take center stage. So in this new moon in Leo, the moon can truly take center stage and know what it wants and get what it wants. And so if you are planning on setting your new moon intentions, they are well planted in this Leo new moon because Leo is fixed fire. This is also about not sitting around on your duff and letting those intentions fall by the wayside while you relax, another re-word, as you relax in the pool. Here's why. Let's take a gander at the beautiful aspects happening during this new moon. And of course, I know there are many astrologers that happen to look at all the planets and every single thing, but I tend to just look at what is aspecting the moon. Because honestly and truly, the moon moves so fast that really what is important here is what is aspecting the moon. Let's take a look. We have the moon aspecting the north node, trining the north node. It is sextiling the south node. Now the north node having a trine, it's about your future pull, pulling you into your well-designed future where your soul wants to go. That north node is in Aries, a fire sign, the fire starter sign. Do you get where I'm going here? Fire and fire. We've got fire with Leo. We've got fire with Aries. North node pointing you to your North Star. And so when I said you can set your intentions, but don't sit around on your booty making those intentions not happen, yes, you will have the fire starter that gets you started towards your North node, but you may well have to do some things in order to make that happen. And that's why I call this work hard, play hard, because you can play hard, but you also have to work hard. And here's a secondary reason why. We have a sextile with a Mars and Jupiter conjunction in Gemini. Now, Gemini is an air sign. Air adds to fire and makes it bigger. Are we in agreement? Air adds to fire and makes it bigger. So, Mars is approaching Jupiter. Jupiter is already slowed down. Jupiter makes things bigger and better, and sometimes not so good, but bigger for sure. And Mars is about action. In Gemini, the air sign, Mars likes to move, 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 move. Now, if you don't move, Mars is going to get restless. This is really great for exercise. It's great for running marathons with Jupiter there. It's really great. It's weird. In Robert Hand's book, Planetary Transit, or Planets in Transit, I think it's called, he said that like Mars conjunct Jupiter is really good for childbirth, like a quick, easy labor and childbirth. So if you are giving birth during this time, it might be quick and easy for you. But it's about action and movement because Gemini is about action and movement. Gemini is very fidgety, very nervousy energy with that air. And when we have this sextile, sextiles are helping hands. So the sextile between the Mars and Jupiter, which is considered a benefic conjunction. It is actually benefic. I know everybody thinks like Mars, malefic, but view my video I put here on malefic planets. Mars, Jupiter is considered very auspicious. It's a good conjunction. It's really good. And it's even lucky. It's even lucky. Play the lotto. If you gamble, don't go overboard, but you might get lucky. So it is a lucky conjunction and they're coming closer together. They will be exact on August 14th of 2024. They are still conjunct now during this new moon in Leo, and they are sextiling our new moon. Sextiles being the helping hand. So if you are ready to set your new moon intentions in Leo, and you are wanting something for your future to manifest, this is a grand time to do that. But it's also the grand time to take action. And once you've taken your actions, you get to relax and recreate. And that is what the Sabían symbol is outlining here. Because it mentions work, it's saying these people are taking a well-deserved break in sophistication, in gossip, in like doing those little trivial things after work, after hard work. And I'll read it to you again. An evening party of adults on a lawn illuminated by fancy lanterns. And it's saying when you work hard and you align yourself with your life purpose North Node, you get to take the time to have fancy surroundings. You get to have the time to do trivial and superficial things if you want to. And sometimes that really is a welcome respite to the hard work. Because sometimes you can be a really serious student, you can be a really serious and spiritual person, you can be a CEO of a company and a hard worker, but sometimes your mind just needs to rest. And sometimes, yes, doing idle chatter, conversation, even gossip can sometimes feel really good just because you're like, I get to let go of all of this. I get to let go of my work. I'd like to go to a fancy party or picnic with pretty lanterns. And sometimes it just allows us to play hard after we have worked hard. And this is also a time to be working hard on your intentions because you have the blessings of that Mars-Jupiter conjunction in Gemini, and you also have the blessings of the North Node pointing the way for you. In Aries, the fire starter. So this is a really good time to set those intentions. It's a good time to make them work. And it's like the more work you put in now, the more they will work for you. And again, I know there are planets retrograde, but who cares? Here's the other thing. And this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then we'll pull some tarot cards. Mars is square Mercury, about to go retrograde. So Mars in Gemini is square Mercury in Virgo, about to retrograde the same day. Here's my phrase for that one. Actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. So you don't have to explain to anyone what you're doing. You don't have to go over the fine details. Mercury's going retrograde anyway. Just do the actions. Do the actions. The actions are speaking louder than the words at this time, during this new moon. Believe me, there will be plenty of time for details later as Mercury is retrograding for 3 weeks, as Mercury usually does. And I will post a Mercury retrograde video shortly. So I hope this was helpful in helping get your creative juices flowing as to what you might do for your new moon intentions, make sure to check out your natal chart to look at the house where the sun and the moon are sitting at 12 degrees Leo. So let's take a look at the tarot. Dear angels and guides, please help the viewers understand what the energy is for this new moon in Leo and what they might need to know to move through these energies on August 4th of 2024 and moving forward. Leo new moon, please. Leo new moon. Well, nothing wanted to come out. How about that? Nothing, absolutely nothing wanted to come out. Leo new moon, please, and thank you. We've got the magician, resourceful creator. What did I say? Manifesting your intentions. I literally said that. Magician, the magician. Resourceful creator. We have got Mercury, we have got Gemini. As I mentioned, Mars in Gemini, Jupiter in Gemini, and Mercury is squaring Mars. It says inspired action, taking inspired action. But with the magician, yes, you can work your magic, but you have to actually do something. You have to do something. Don't just sit back, you must do something. What else for this Leo new moon? Please and thank you, angels and guides. Leo new moon, August 4th. We've got the Strength card in reverse. This is a Leo card. It says lacking confidence, self-doubt, inadequacy, low self-esteem, and vulnerable. And I would just say, if you are doubting yourself, it also has a sun in Leo. This is a sun in Leo card. If you are doubting yourself, I would say default to where your North Node is, or default to where Mars and Jupiter are in your chart. If you are having self-doubt, default to those 2 points that are aspecting our new moon and look to those, for example. Like for me, the North Node is in my 10th house right now. So that is career, and that's getting yourself out there into the public eye. And so for me, that's a telltale sign. Anything that I need to do to take action is going to get me out there into the world with my career. So look at that if you feel that you are lacking in confidence or you're doubting yourself as to which actions to take. Okay, so for the Leo new moon, please and thank you, August 4th. And I think some of that self-doubt comes from having so many planets retrograde. As I mentioned, retrograde planets can equal introspection for yourself. So we've got 2, we've got 4 of Wands, celebrating union, community support, lovers. Could be a good time for finding someone. But this is also celebrations, 4 of Wands, celebrating. You know, this is a work hard, play hard card, to be honest with you, because 4s are about building solid foundations. 4 of Wands in this case is about celebrating. And I would say if it's time for you to celebrate, celebrate, right? If it's time to work, work. If it's time to celebrate, celebrate. If it's time to party, party. But if it's time to work, work. Choose. Choose, but do both. And here we have Ace of Coins in reverse, and it says risky endeavor. I would say that if you're going to use that good luck of Mars, Jupiter, and Gemini to gamble or to play the lottery or to bet on horses or bet on a business, mitigate your risk. Mitigate your risk. Remember, Mercury is in Virgo and it is turning retrograde, which is really also about mitigating your risk. Virgos don't necessarily like risk. Virgos are pretty risk averse. And the reason is because they like to understand that all the details are being taken care of. And so I feel like if you're going to take a risk, mitigate the risk. Make sure it's a measured risk. Don't put all your money in the stock market. Don't put all your money on one horse. Mitigate that risk. You could have very good luck, but mitigate the risk. Okay, so here we go. What else do they need to know? Do my viewers need to know about the Leo new moon? What other advice can you give to them, angels? That one tentatively wanted to come out. Wow, cards, you know, like I said, fixed fire, everything's slowing down. Even the cards are slowing down. Even the cards are slow. Eight of Swords, self-entrapment. Okay, this is another Gemini card, and it's also a Jupiter in Gemini card. Ooh, Jupiter in Gemini. Oh my goodness, Eight of Swords. Don't get caught up in your thoughts. You know, here's the thing, like I said, introspection, planets slowing down, bringing it inside to your thoughts. The only way through those thoughts is just to take action. Take the actions. Take the actions, get out of your thoughts. Get out of those self-defeating thoughts. Get out of those self-doubt thoughts. Get out of those feelings of like, I can't really move forward. I don't know how to move forward. Move forward anyway. Move forward anyway. You can fix what needs to be fixed later. Just move forward anyway. Okay, so last card, please and thank you for Leo new moon. 10 of Wands, a heavy load. Ooh, okay, let's just take a look at this card. I'm not really sure how to interpret this given the rest of the reading. Okay, so the messages that are coming through for the 10 of Wands is lay down your load in order to play. Some of you can have a tendency to overwork even through the summer. Some of you can have a tendency to just take on too much even through the summer. I've heard it mentioned that with Jupiter and Gemini, we can have a tendency to take on too much because Jupiter is about bigger. It's about more. And Gemini is a very fast-paced, fast-moving energy. And we can tend to want to do more with Jupiter and Gemini. And 10 of Wands is like, lay down your burdens, lay down your load. Don't take on so much work. Don't take on so much burden. You need to lay it down. And I think a lot of you, because this is the reading that's coming out, especially with the last 3 cards that have come out, I feel like a lot of you do work too hard. A lot of you have a hard time playing when it's time to play, celebrating when it's time to celebrate. See, this is about celebrations, going to weddings, going to baptisms, going to wedding showers, going to picnics. A lot of you have a harder time just putting away the work and just having fun, celebrating life, like switching off that work mode. Just completely shutting it down, completely letting it go. And the Sabían Symbol certainly does say that. It says you must turn on those fancy lanterns and do trivial stuff, superficial stuff, trivial stuff. Forget about work for now. And I feel that a lot of you have such heavy loads that you're not willing to put them down to play and to recreate your mind and to rest. And that's really the trust of manifestation, is when you trust your manifestation power, your inspired actions, instead of working too hard, 10 of Wands, you will choose your work wisely. You will choose your activities wisely. And the actions you do take will be inspired so that they work better than you trying out 100 million different things. Like you're throwing a bunch of darts at the wall and just seeing what sticks. So be mindful about the choices you make. And I think you will find that you have more time to relax, to do recreation, to celebrate, to have more fun After all, this is summer, this is Leo season. It's time to slow down and have a little fun. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. Click on the bell, scroll up to all for all notifications. And thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with others who like astrology and want to learn more. Thank you so much for your support of my YouTube channel. You can buy one of my 11 published books. You can book a reading with me, and I will see you in the next video.